Okay, what's going on, everybody? This is the Fuzzy Balls podcast. It is your host, Francisco. No Joe today. Me and Joe have had conflicting schedules lately. Our schedules have been pretty tight, but you guys know that's just the way life is. So we've decided, me and Joe have agreed that I do this Indian Wells recap on my own. So we're going to try to get together for each podcast that we want to do, but the way life is, I'm doing this one on my own. So these podcasts are going to be a little shorter than the ones you guys have heard the first few in the past. When me or Joe do these by ourselves, these obviously aren't going to be hour-long podcasts. Especially for these week-long Master 1000 events. I'm not going to be sitting here talking about these events for an hour, even though we probably could talk about these events, especially Indian Wells this year. A lot transpired. There's honestly a lot to talk about, but I wasn't able to obviously watch every single match, so I will try to talk about everything that I saw in the past week and a half. Try to take away everything important that happened each day, because there were a lot of important things to take away from this tournament. A lot of important things. We saw a very similar thing to last year on the women's side. We had Naomi Osaka, young upcoming player, win the event. Same thing this year with this young Canadian girl who I will get to in a couple of minutes. Very happy. I'm a little biased. Very happy to see what transpired on the men's side, who won the title. But let's start with the women. So Serena played Muguruza in I believe it was the third round. Yes, it was the third round. She ended up retiring due to, it might have been her ankle. I don't exactly remember specifically, but Serena ended up retiring. She was obviously one of the favorites to win the event, but like Joe has told me in the past, and it's pretty consensual, any event that Serena's in, she's going to be, if not the favorite, one of the favorites. I'd say Osaka was probably the favorite for this event, considering she won last year, considering she won the last two majors. So Serena ended up retiring, and Muguruza, who got destroyed 2 rounds later to Bianca Andreescu, the young 18-year-old Canadian who just showed she has so much potential and that she is going to be a force to be reckoned with for a number of years. Another possible star in women's tennis, who we'll get to. Kvitova, also early in the event, Kvitova lost to Venus in a great match, probably one of the matches of the tournament. Venus ended up losing to Kerber in the quarterfinal, and Kerber obviously played a great tournament. Kerber eventually ended up losing to Bianca Andreescu in the final match, and Bianca Andreescu, what a freaking match from Bianca Andreescu. She took the first set. Kerber took the second. And the third set was absolutely incredible. Andreescu, at one point, she didn't know if she could last, but she said she wanted it so badly. She was going to play through the cramps and the pain and everything, and she fought through it, and she said she wanted it badly. That's what you love to see as a tennis fan. As a fan of sports, you love to see that. You love to see somebody that, wants to win so badly. And you could see after every single point in about the eighth or ninth game, she was bending down. She was holding her leg. I think it was her left leg, and she fought through that. She lost her service game. She was serving for the match. She lost the service game to Kerber, but she ended up winning the next game to win the title. And I honestly, after she lost that service game, I thought Kerber might come back and win, but Andreescu obviously wanted it so badly, and she was playing the tennis of her career. And she ended up beating Kerber, which was absolutely amazing. Other things to take away: Osaka lost and Halep lost as well. I think Kerber moved up to fourth in the world. Andreescu moves up to somewhere in the 30s. Obviously, she's someone to look out for now. She has made her mark. So the women's side, there was a lot, man, a lot of, obviously 1 through 10. Yeah, Osaka's number one in the world right now, but there's not much distance in between each one. Everybody in the top 10 is pretty good. Bianca Andreescu, seriously, playing with so much firepower. It was great to see her win. Obviously a fan favorite now. So congratulations to Andreescu. Let's get to the men's side. Obviously the big one. Obviously not even the big one. There's a lot of big things to talk about from the men's side. Djokovic lost to Philip Kohlschreiber. The first night they were supposed to play, it ended up raining. So they played the next afternoon, and Kohlschreiber beat Djokovic 6-4, 6-4, straight sets. Djokovic said he preferred to play Kohlschreiber at night, just the way the ball was jumping off the court from Kohlschreiber's racket. It's easier to play against that night, according to Djokovic. But Kohlschreiber beats Djokovic the first time he has beaten a number one in the world since 2009, I believe. So good for Philip Kohlschreiber. Marcus Giron and Milos Raonic had an interesting match. A very good match, definitely, for sure. Giron had Raonic. He beat him in the first set. Raonic took the second, I believe. And he was winning 4-1 against Raonic in the third set, and even the commentators were saying that, this definitely has the feel for an upset. Raonic isn't doing anything to show that he's going to win this match or even have a chance to come back. And Raonic came back. He looked so mad and upset, aggravated, whatever, how many words you can name. Raonic came back and beat Giron 6-4 in that third set. But Giron obviously earned his respect in this match because obviously not just Raonic's, but the crowd, everybody. He earned a lot of respect. As a young American, so seriously, got another guy to look out for. Felix Auger Alice. I can't even say the last name. Not even going to attempt it. But FAA is what they call him. He's one to look out for. 18-year-old Canadian. Only made it to the third round of this event. Lost to Nishioka, who ended up retiring against Cechmanich. But Felix is definitely a young kid to look out for. There's a bunch of these Canadians in this tournament, man. Felix, Shap, Andreescu, who won, obviously, Raonic. A lot of Canadian firepower, definitely from this tournament. So another one, Gael Monfils, and this was upsetting to me because he was playing such good tennis. He's been playing, it feels like top 5 tennis from the beginning of the year. He's been on fire. Right before the match with Thiem in the quarterfinals, I believe, he had to withdraw. His Achilles hurt, apparently. He was warming up with his girlfriend, Alina Svitolina, and they it seemed like a light warm up, and Monfils, he withdrew. So he came out to the crowd right before the match was supposed to start, and he apologized to all the fans who came out and told them what it was and said he would love to play, but he can't. He's not going to try and injure himself even more, especially because he's had injury problems in the past few years. You're not going to want to make it worse, especially when you've had such a good start to the season, which is such a shame, especially for Monfils, who's had so much talent, so much potential, hasn't really ever lived up to it. But he's really been playing, the tennis of his life. So hopefully we see Monfils back on the court soon. So yeah, rest up, Gail. So that led Thiem to the semifinal where he had a great match with Milos Raonic, and Thiem ends up making it to the final against Mr. Federer, which we'll flash back a little bit here. Nadal and Fed in the semis. Everyone's so excited. Fans paying a lot of money to go to the semifinals on Saturday, and Nadal withdraws against Federer a couple hours before the match. I think right around when Thiem was playing Raonic, they announced it. Nadal, that knee, he's had problems with it for years. Past couple years, he's had issues with that knee. He had issues, honestly, the match before against Hashanov, and he was able to tough it out and win the match in straight sets. But obviously, Nadal was hopeful that he'd be able to play against Federer, but he doesn't want to injure, like I was saying with Monfils, he doesn't want to injure that Achilles more. Nadal doesn't want to injure his knee more and not be able to even play on clay, because obviously that's where he thrives at. 11 major titles in the French Open. He wants to play Madrid. So we did not get Nadal Federer 39. Would have loved to have seen it, but we didn't get it. Instead, Federer placed Thiem in the final, where they had a very, very good match. It seemed like in the first set, another day at the office for Federer, he won the first set 6-3. But Thiem had a very good second set. And the third set was epic. Thiem was absolutely ripping the ball. So he was ripping the balls. I mean, that adrenaline was kicking in, and he was hitting it 10 miles per hour more than he often usually does. So Thiem, it seemed like it was going to go to a tiebreaker. I was actually hoping for a tiebreaker, just the way the match was going, the third set. But Thiem ended up breaking Fed at 5-all, and he served for the match where he won 7-5. Thiem's first Masters 1000 title. Obviously, future looking a lot better for Thiem, especially after the year he had last year. He had a good year, and the year's looking even better this year, even though he had a bad start to the Australian this year. But he also had a bad start to the Australian last year, losing to Tennis Sangren. And I think he lost to Pouillet this year in the Australian. But last year he made the French Open final, obviously. Made it to the U.S. Open quarterfinal where he had an amazing match against Nadal. But, bouncing back after the bad start out the Australian, and winning the Indian Wells this year was absolutely incredible. Shout out to Thiem. Was so awesome to see him win. He's my favorite tennis player right now. I'm being biased. It doesn't matter. But I wanted to see Thiem win the match. I mean, all in all, I wanted to see a good tennis match. I saw that, and then some. We get to see Thiem win. So Thiem wins Indian Wells. That's some good momentum going into the clay season, where that's his best surface as well. Obviously, as well as Nadal. But Thiem also thrives on clay. I think I see a few French Open titles for Thiem. Obviously, after Nadal retires, and Djokovic as well, because not only is Nadal a favorite for the clay for French Open, Djokovic got to be a favorite too as well. Obviously, Nadal is the favorite. As long as he is alive and he is playing tennis, he will be the favorite for the French Open. And the next line would be Djokovic, and then I guess third would be Thiem for me. But that's just for me. So, great tournament, Indian Wells, BNP Paribas Open. I think me and Joe will probably be getting together within the next few weeks. We'll have a special guest on the podcast soon, so look out for that. Anything else, just rate, comment, subscribe. This isn't YouTube, but I'm just so used to doing the YouTube. Actually, this is going on YouTube, so never mind. Excuse me. But do all that fun stuff. Just support the podcast, please. This is Fuzzy Balls Podcast, man. It's your host, Francisco. Everybody have a good week.